Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Yeah, we're here to talk about fans. That's a very good start to the podcast. Obviously, after yesterday, had a little bit of a, tetchy podcast talking about something a bit controversial. This one's a little bit less controversial, I'd say, or a little bit more. I don't know. JG's looking a little bit like he's going to get stuck into it again. But yeah, I just want to say about yesterday's one. I know that it's sort of a subject that rubs people up the wrong way a little bit. We're just giving our thoughts on and our opinions on it. You might agree, you might disagree. It's just part and parcel of doing these things about the news. But thanks everyone for commenting, everybody who got involved with the conversation anyway. So appreciate that. But this one, we're talking about the US Open, the qualification. There's no fans allowed there, even though the actual event does have fans, which it's a little bit strange. I'm not sure what's going on. What's your thoughts on this, JG?
Well, mate, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? Money talks. It's the thing what everyone's been saying. The one thing I would say, we can't really just dig out the USTA more than the other events because, as you know, Roland Garros, or even just more recently, Wimbledon, there was no people allowed in for that one and for the qualifiers. And then towards the quarterfinals onwards, there was full capacity. So was it really in a matter of a few weeks that much of a difference? No, of course not. The only big difference is money. And they can charge a lot of money for final tickets and the higher end ones on centre court and court one. Whereas the qualifiers, as you and I know, they're free. It's free to attend. So anyone can turn up, which I think makes them so special. You've got people who necessarily don't have loads of money kicking about to be going to watch these kind of things. And if it's on their doorstep, I'm sure they might fancy trying to attend if they can. And I think that was the beauty of the qualifiers. You get to see good players come through. We know the players very well on the Challenger circuit. They're not going to be disappointed with the quality of tennis. They're going to be entertained. And I think it just takes a little bit from the whole thing. But it's been the whole story of all the Grand Slams. They've all opted for this. I don't think it's the right thing to do because it just doesn't make sense. How all of a sudden can you have no fans allowed in? And then a matter of a few days after, it's fine to have loads of fans. What's it, like 60,000 fans?
Yeah, full capacity. It's not, there's no holding back. I think it's a little bit unfair, like you said, if it's free to go and watch them as well. There's so many amazing players in those qualifications, players that we speak about week in, week out. And these are going to be the next big players. And you're just denying people access who probably can't afford to go and watch the actual US Open in the main draw, that type of thing. You're denying them going to see some of the people they look up to, some of these young players. And obviously we would have had, he's probably not going to be there anymore, someone like an Alcaraz in there, Musetti, they'll probably be in the main draw now. But
let's look at the Australian Open, start of the year. Who come through the qualifiers? Aslan Karatsev. He was in the qualification. Exactly. He got all the way to, semi-finals. Oh, exactly. So it's like, we can't discount these players. You're going to see exciting stuff. But aside from the financial side of it for fans, it's the fact that it's easier to potentially go and watch it because some of the other fans who just watch the sort of the main stuff, it may be easier to obtain a ticket. I'm not sure how it works exactly, so I can't talk too much on it. But like for us, for example, it's a lot easier for us to go in the queue and get a ticket than try and join a ballot for Wimbledon. It's so difficult. I'm sure it's a bit similar for the US Open. Some of the best matches when it actually begins and we're getting into, say, the second week, it's very difficult to obtain a ticket, even if you've got the money. But with the qualifiers, it must be a little bit easier to go and watch some tennis. And it's just robbing them of that. And there's no logical reason aside from the fact of money because you can't blame COVID and say, oh, it's not safe. And that is the stance which they've taken, which I don't like. So they're saying after consulting with local health authorities and the US Open medical team, it was determined the 2021 qualifying tournament will not be open for fans to attend. So they've consulted the local health authorities and the US Open medical team. It's a load of rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish. And I just hate the stance that they come out with because what have the US Open medical team said then? oh, it's a bit of a risk, but if you wait a few days, it'll be fine. Pack it out.
Well, but yeah, exactly. It's just
then you can sell tickets. And the most embarrassing thing, I don't know if you want to scroll down. I'm not sure if it's on this tweet. Can you scroll down a little bit? Look at this. It gets worse. Look, keep going. There we go. Oh, the qualifying tournament will be available on ESPN Plus, and there will also be coverage of all the qualifying matches, player practice, and player interviews on ESPN News with the times, the dates, everything. So ultimately, we're not allowed to you in, but if you want to pay for it, I know the qualifying's free, but if you do want to pay, sign up for one of these, one of our sponsors, where they're probably paying a lot of money for, and go through that way. It'll help the ratings. How amazing is that?
Well,
it's a disgrace. And that is the tweet they've put after that. Why don't they follow up from what the what's it called? The medical team have said. Why don't they have a quote from what they've said rather than promoting ESPN? It winds me up. It's no logical sense to it. It's just embarrassing, and just do it and with a bit of integrity.
Well, it's like they've it's literally like they've said, right, give a date that you think that there will be, well, everybody will be immune, really. So I think it will be exactly the date of the main draw, I believe. The qualification just falls on the cusp when everybody probably... They're still going to be very infectious around that time. But when the main draw starts, don't worry. Everybody's fine. Get in there. Pack those stands. We're all good. Makes no sense, does it? Come on.
For the free qualifiers, you're not allowed in. But when you have to start paying, you're allowed in. But just to try and get money out of the qualifying, why don't you stay at home? We're forcing you to stay at home and not watch it. And then pay for a license. I'm sure it's not cheap either to watch the matches. Unless you can, I think... If you've already got a license, probably a lot of people have access to ESPN. But if you're in this country, in the UK, I'm not sure if I think you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's like in America. But we've got some people. We've got Liam in the chat saying it's ball. US has been open for ages now. And he's saying, if anything, the qualies will be less busy packed. So surely it would be safer.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I think you're just denying people an opportunity to go and watch tennis. They should be encouraging people to go and watch as much tennis as possible.
As much qualifiers as well. We know the issues and the disparity in the sport with, say, the lower ranked players and all the money being focused on the top and Grand Slams and the top 100. This is the best opportunity to get eyes on the sport from lower ranked players, and they can say, "Oh, well, we are doing that because we're going to make you pay and watch it." But why not let people be there and experience it firsthand? Because that can be equally as good as the actual main draw when it starts off.
Well, this is it. And we know that they did increase the amount for qualifiers or in the tournaments as well. I know that we spoke to a few people. I think Donskoy was saying that they get so much each qualifying round they go through. It could be more. Imagine if they managed to even get half a capacity, or if they had the final round of qualifying with, I'm sure if they promoted it enough, these players... These could turn into the next superstars, but then they're not doing that. They're just saying, right, we'll just close it all off, wait for the main draw. Whoever gets through, and we'll just promote the top 10 as we always do. But there's no, I mean, if you want to create a bigger gap in between all of the rankings, you're doing the best thing by just stopping people watching it. It's ridiculous. Come on.
I think Brian sums it up nicely. It's somehow safe to have 600,000 fans over the following 2 weeks. I guess the health officials think that's a good idea. It's ridiculous. Let's move on to the next bit, because I think that's the actual quote which they wrote on the article. So this was a particularly tough decision for the USTA. Was it tough? Probably not. Given the immense popularity of the US Open qualifying among fans. So they're admitting it's very popular. They know that. So what we're going to do is not allow you to go see it. But after consulting, and there we go. It's talking about, that's the one we sort of read later on.
It's so popular. But unfortunately, it doesn't earn us enough money to allow fans in. It's not really worth our while. Read between the lines. That's pretty much what they're saying. We're probably going to make a loss with all of the staff that are going to be involved to have to be there for that, to man everything. Yeah, it's not worth it. I don't think we're going to get out of bed for that one. We'll get out of bed when the main draw kicks off.
I'm just hoping, because obviously the next slam after this will be the following year, Australian Open. Hoping that we can change around a bit and have fans back in the qualifying. Something makes me think with the Australian Open, they're quite strict with all of this COVID stuff.
Yeah,
and I think they're not going to allow it potentially. But it might be French Open back at Roland Garros. That could be the first time fans can watch qualifiers again. And we've got a good comment coming in from Liam. There says, what's the health official that gave them this advice? Matt Hancock.
It sounds like it.
It could have been. I would have been surprised.
Terrible, isn't it? It's just something. It's just black and white, isn't it? It's just you look at it and it just makes no sense. And to try and justify it in any way just makes them look more silly, doesn't it? You can't do it. It's not even as if it's staggered. Like, oh, we'll have like quarter capacity for the first round, then half capacity for the second round of qualifying, and then maybe 75%, and then full when we get into the US Open. No, we're going to go from none to 600,000 people over the next 2 weeks. It's ridiculous, mate. If everything else is going back to normal there, why would they just victimize lower ranked tennis players from not allowing them to have fans at their matches?
Yeah, it's ludicrous, man. But I think let's talk about some more positive things, and that's the tennis that's going on right now in Cincinnati. It's been some amazing stuff. It really has.
Yeah.
I know you've got some of the potential. I think they are all not now official matches because Cilic won that. I think it was in play when he put this tweet out. But these are the confirmed matches we're going to be seeing later on today. If the rain holds up, I know we've had a lot of rain issues in Cincinnati, which has been a bit disappointing to see. A lot of play's been pushed back. I think they're going to go for 6 matches on each court today, which is
a lot.
It's quite a lot. So hopefully there's not rain because we're not going to be able to get through them. I know we're trying to do a live watch along of one of the women's ones on Jabeur later on, so make sure to join us for that. But hopefully, if there is no rain, we will be able to do it on time, which I think is about 10 p.m. UK time. But before we go through these matches, let's see who they've beaten. You don't have to get it up because I've got it on my screen anyway. I'll just take you through some of the results, and that is some good ones. Andy Murray, of course, beat Gasquet straight sets. Did you expect that?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of these players. I'm not going to say he's a journeyman, or so to speak, but I'd say this is one of those people, like we said with Federer, when you get Gasquet and you're one of these other players like a Murray, one of those old top players, he sort of knows how to beat him. And I think that's a nice draw for him. He has more power. Gasquet struggles with people with more power than him a lot of the time. And Murray, I watched the highlights. Looked really good. He was pushing Gasquet around the court. Liked it.
He was doing some of his trademark shots as well, where he sort of gets into the court, cuts off the angle, really good forehands. So it was good to see Murray playing well. Khachanov, your man, won in straight sets against Kevin Anderson. That's a tough win, but he did it 6-2, 6-4. That was impressive. McDonald beat Nakashima again.
Yeah.
Anything to say on that one?
Well, I think we got it wrong. We've got to hold our hands up to that one, to be honest, because I think we both went for Nakashima and McDonald, considering his recent run of form. We should have.
Well, they've both been in good form. I think it was a tight one to call.
We should have given him more respect, I think. I think we disrespected Mackie a bit there. So I was just going to bring up some of the results so people can have a look through them.
Nice. That's probably better anyway. So,
there's Nakashima.
I was just going to go. If you keep going up, sorry, you got Karatsev, Cilic. I think we both called that. Still not going well for Karatsev. I think he's lost 4 now in a row. Alcaraz lost to Sonego. I saw Alcaraz was a big favourite for that. I thought the bookies had that wrong. I thought it would have been very close. I would have had Sonego as the favourite.
Same.
I think they just get very hyped on him. Apelka continuing to win, which is good. Dimitrov are good. That's a shock for me, seeing Dimi do that. And he was playing amazing. He was playing amazing. I think I forget the exact amount of winners. I don't know if you've got it there, but the winners in the first set was just through the roof. He was finding so many winners and playing amazing. So, I was really happy with him. And I think
16 aces from Dimitrov as well. That's impressive.
Served well. I think he served a whole game of aces. That's right.
Wow.
So there was a period where he just hit 4 aces in a row.
That's
he looks
incredible.
Well, he looks bad. Maybe Dimi could take this tournament. I believe he's won Cincinnati before. Who did he beat in the final? Someone tell me in the live chat. I know who he beat. What's his name? He beat. Mate, it's gone from me. I'll have to pick it up.
Give you that. I'll look it up quickly for you.
I can have a look if you take us through some of the other results.
Okay, you look it up. I've got it there. Kyrgios, he beat.
Kyrgios, that's it. It's a big one. 2015, is it?
2017.
17, huh?
Yeah, so
more recent.
The one that was a really close match, Hurkacz got tested by Fokina. That was always going to be interesting, seeing as Fokina had a 2-love winning record against Hurkacz on hard courts. And the biggest result, really, of them all, Benoit Paire is
in the early hours.
In the early hours.
And you've got Liam here saying, oh, yeah, shout out to 12 Travel 21. He got the Kyrgios thing. Very knowledgeable guy. And Liam saying, I just want Paire to lose. He's not a big Paire fan, but I think I'm not a big Paire fan most of the time, but when Paire cares, he's one of the most exciting players to watch. He's world class. There's no doubts about it. He's amazing. He's amazing. I don't know if you saw, I watched the highlights in full when I woke up. The drop shot, that one where he generated all that spin, some of the big power backhands he was doing, just playing amazing. He was just running around. He looked fit. He was covering the angles. I didn't think Chapeau played that bad. He was hitting some amazing shots, Chapeau as well. He did the trademark backhand with the one-handed backhand jump shot down the line. He was looking amazing. It looked like a really good one to be in the stands for. The atmosphere was quite good. And Benoit Paire, I don't know, take a bow, son. Amazing. It's like exhibition style shots from him, but just working hard as well. And he dug in there. I think he had 4 match points before he converted. So I'm really happy. I really am. You got RS saying JG called Paire to win. I don't think I did for Chapeau. But the first round I did.
First round you definitely did. Oh,
I also called for Kina, which didn't happen. But he did get a set off Hurkacz, so it's not the worst in the world. You've got John Silk joining us in the chat. How we doing, mate?
The big shock for me, and well, maybe didn't give TFO enough respect, was Ugo Humbert going out to Francis TFO. Well done, TFO there. Should have really said it's the US player, but Humbert battered him last time. I think it was 1 and 2. Yep. So I thought it was going to be similar, but yeah, straight sets win for TFO. Well done to him. And
I saw an interview before the match from Humbert saying he's one of his favourite players to play is TFO. Not sure if that's going to be the case now after his loss, but he was saying he's a great person to play. He's very, very exciting, good showmanship from him, and he always finds it very entertaining. So maybe that could change. I think it always does. If you beat someone regularly, you always like playing them. When you start losing, you forget all the other stuff on the court, and you just remember the loss.
It's good to see not only one Frenchman on the comeback, but 2. Gael Monfils doing it again, getting some wins under the belt. Great to see. Knocks out Lajovic 7-6, 7-love in the tiebreak as well, and 6-2 in the second set. Well done to him. The resurgence continues. Isn't that great to see?
Amazing. I'm really happy for him. I didn't see the highlights of this, but I saw one shot. Big, deep, powerful forehand, just passing Lajovic, couldn't get anywhere on it. And I was really impressed to see that he's hitting a lot more confidently and well, because I don't think we've seen that at all since COVID. The first time I've seen some really big hitting. I know he's been winning matches, but still not been the same. There were spells in this one from what I've seen on Twitter and that shot and the highlights and that and stuff, where he looks a lot more like the Monfils we're expecting. So hopefully he can be back. And back to the other screenshot you had of matches, because then we'll do the women's afterwards. Let's focus on just the men's for now. The matches we've got in store today, wow.
Well, I was going to say well done to you on predicting that Ramos would win in his match, because I didn't call that one at all.
Yeah, against Taylor Fritz. Yeah, I know Taylor Fritz has been suffering from a lot of injuries. I think Ramos is underrated in every regard. I know he's a clay court, but he's so good, yeah. He's very good. So
what do I know?
So here we go. This is what we've got in store today. Cilic Rublev, Tsitsipas Korda, Sinner John Isner, Felix Khachanov, Murray Hurkacz, Dimitrov Bublik, Medvedev McDonald, and then I'm not sure. Well, I think we know who it is now. So Opelka, did he?
Yeah. Well,
Opelka, I think Ruud.
Opelka Ruud is on. It is Opelka Ruud. It is going to be obviously TFO, Schwartzman, and Diminor Monfils. So exciting end to the day. I think they're all last on court, those ones as well.
Yeah, so it's a shame we can't do more live watch-alongs, because if we had, say, we're working today, but if we had some time off, I think we could have done a whole day of tennis, because for me, I know I was getting a bit excited before the podcast saying it's one of the greatest days of tennis. That was probably getting over the top, but it is amazing. There's so many good matches. And we've not even got onto the WTA, because I would say the WTA fixtures are actually, they're better than the men's.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait. We're going to be covering, of course, one of them, but we might as well start with it. You've got Naomi Osaka, Coco Gauff today. You've got Svitolina Kerber. You've got Sabalenka Badoza. You've got Halep versus Pegula. I think Georgie lost straight sets. You've got Andreescu Mukova. You've got Muguruza versus Garcia. Garcia beat Sloane Stephens. Well done to that because he come through the qualifiers. Ostapenko Brady. You've got Savontek Jabeur. Is that right today? No.
Yeah.
You are. Savontek Jabeur, because Jabeur beat Kontaveit. And you've got Mertens, Rybakina. So it doesn't get bigger. All you need is Williams in there. Venus versus Serena. And we would have had the full shebang.
Yeah, we really would. It's super exciting to see so many amazing players on show and some just amazing matchups as well. The fact that we had obviously Bencic, Vondrousova. They played each other again, didn't they? And Bencic beat her again. So that ruined my bracket. I thought Vondrousova was going to get the revenge. Unfortunately not.
I thought that as well. I had Vondrousova. So we do definitely get some wrong. We got Relax Max. I'll answer this one because I know we're talking about women's. It's just the last one on the men's. You talked about Karatsev. What do you think about his last losses? I think it's disappointing. He's definitely having a bit of a lull from all the highs, but I'm hoping he can get back there. We know how great he can be. I think it's 4 on the bounce now. He's been struggling in the last few Masters. Let's see. I think he might need a break from it all, to be fair. This year's been a bit crazy. If you're looking from the start to now, everything's happened so quickly for him. I think he just needs to he might not do very well the rest of this season. Hopefully he'll be back for next one because he's class. Brilliant tennis player.
That's his 8th loss, I believe, in his last 11 matches. So he's struggling to pick up the wins, but he has been playing some tough opposition as well. Cilic, obviously, no schmuck, Grand Slam champ on.
It's Chardy what keeps getting him, isn't it? I think he's lost twice to Chardy.
I mean, they're just difficult players to play against. And obviously, if we'd have been talking this time last year, we wouldn't have been giving him a hope. But just the fact of what he did in Australia, everybody still knows his full potential now, and we want to see it again. So
going down these names here, mate, how do you see him going?
It's so tough. I'm probably the worst one to pick on any of these right now because I've been doing terribly. I love Sabalenka Badoza. I'm going to stick with Saba. I'm tough. It's tough on Gauff to be on Osaka because Gauff looks really good right now. I'm just going to stick with Osaka. I think
Gauff beat her the last time they played.
I know. This is where
was it the US or was it Australia?
I think it was Australia.
One of the slams.
2020, I believe. I'm going to probably be going with. I think Kerber could beat Svitolina. She looked very good in her first round match. Pegula looks back. I think she could knock Halep out. Andreescu, I'd love to see her go through. Muguruza, the same. Brady, you sort of called it. You said that she could be. This is her
tournament. And I just picked a name. I worked backwards. I thought Brady's time coming to America. She could do well. She had a great Australian Open. She's good on the hard courts. Could she have a little breakthrough spell here? She could go and win the whole thing. To be honest. Yeah. So hopefully she can advance. And then the last few for you?
Jabeur and Swiatek, that's a horrid one again. I mean, I have no idea on that one. That one.
Well, hopefully you're Swiatek because I'm going to be Jabeur. I'm going to be covering that in the watch along. Yeah, you're going to have to have the Polish flag. I'm going to be going massive on Ons Jabeur today. I'm hoping she can win. I think have I got to win in the whole thing? I've got to go into the final.
Something like that.
I've got Jabeur Gauff final, so wish me luck. Mertens, Rybakina.
It's another one, isn't it?
So that's a 50-50.
I'd back Rybakina. You know that I like her to win. Mertens, though, I can see her having a good spell now, coming into a bit of form as the US Open approaches. She's a dangerous lady on tour.
Yeah, if I had to do mine quickly, I'd go Gauff, Kerber, Badoza, Halep, Andreescu, Muguruza, Brady, Jabeur, Mertens. So a little bit different to you. I think Badoza, I'm a big fan of. I think she can beat Sabalenka. I've called it on the last two brackets and they didn't get to meet the last time. This time they get to meet. Am I going to be right? Only a matter of time until I know. I think it'll be happening in a few hours if there's no rain.
Yeah. Let's hope that the rain holds off because it was a bit of a nightmare.
Well, Relax Max is saying it. I hope it will be a nice cloudless day in Cincy today. There's a lot of matches to get through, and it'll be a shame if it's ruined by the rain. I think that's the only thing that can ruin today. the rain and us working and not being able to watch the matches. Them too.
It says at the moment it's supposed to just be sunny all day. So hopefully that holds up. I know that tomorrow it's predicted there's going to be some rain in Cincinnati. But yeah, today looks clear. Fingers crossed we get all those top matches. I'm excited, and we'll bring you Swiatek Jabeur later, depending on whether it's Svitolina, how long that match goes. If they go on for 3 hours in her match, we could have Osaka Goff at 6. So you never know. Like they start at 3 p.m. our time, and obviously we finish work at 6. If it turns out that match goes on a long time, who knows?
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. We've got John saying Goff's on fire. She's my pick to win the whole thing. Let's hope it can happen. I'm really impressed with her. She won straight sets. I think it was it a 2 and a 1 the other day, or 2 and a 2? It was very comfortable. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up because we've got to get back to work. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast. If you haven't already, please hit the like button on the video. It'd be really good to get a few likes on this one. And if you're new to Game to Love, subscribe. And we'll see you later on today and then tomorrow for another lunchtime podcast.
Take it easy, guys.